Do you have more than 2 credit cards, or perhaps do you find yourself spending a lot of time trying to maximize all of your credit cards' benefits and perks? Me too. I'm Key, and since 2017, I've had well over 50 plus credit cards in my collection. Right now, I actually have over 10 credit cards that have perks and benefits with varying frequencies. I have perks that are monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and card member year. It's a lot. Before we get started, I want to ask you, how do you currently keep track of all of your credit card benefits and make sure you're maximizing all of your credit card rewards? Definitely let me know down in the comments. Um, so first today, I'm actually going to share 2 free resources that you can start to implement to make sure that you're utilizing your credit card benefits and perks to their maximum value. I'm really excited, and I hope that you find a lot of value in everything that I'm gonna share with you today. So, starting things off with something called Apple Reminders. I'm gonna just start sharing my screen. Perfect. So, within Apple Reminders, I'm going to show you how to walk through all of this. I've actually set up a credit card perks tracker for myself. You'll see here on my cover sheet that I have every single bank that I do business with, followed by the card and the annual fee that I'm currently paying. So, for example, American Express, I have all my cards listed, so on and so forth, all the way down through the bottom here. Now, I'm going to just navigate into one of these banks. I'm going to just go into US Bank just to show you what each of these looks like. And if you're anything like me, I like to have one list per bank that I do business with just to keep things easier and to make my tracker sheet, this holistic view come together pretty nicely. So I'm going to go into US Bank, like I mentioned. And simply before I show you how to set this up, just want to show you what it looks like. Under US Bank, I have 3 credit cards with US Bank, totaling $895 in annual fees. If you're interested in knowing how many annual fees I'm paying right now, you can tally that up while I kind of go through this, or you can check out the video that I'll definitely link above after this recording. Now, for example, I have my US Bank Altitude Reserve card. There's kind of 3 main benefits that this card comes with. One of which is global entry and pre-TSA. The next one is a travel and dining credit that comes on a card member year basis. And then lastly is a priority pass with restaurant access. Now, each of these 3 items here, I like to add in as much detail as possible, and I'll go through that in a couple of minutes here. But for example, the global entry is something that's only valid every 4 years on the card. So I'm show you how to set that up utilizing Apple Reminders. So that way you can get it out of your brain and never have to worry about missing out on any added value that these cards provide. Same thing with the travel credit, and likewise with the priority pass. This year is something new that I'm going to actually be implementing. I'm just going to break this down a little bit. This card comes with 8 visits. So what I'm going to do is every time I make a visit to one of these priority pass restaurants, I'm actually going to list this here, but I'm also going to make note of which priority pass I actually visit by putting it in the notes. So for example, if I go to like a Boston restaurant, I'll go ahead and put that in here. So that way I can keep track and I could share with you at the end of the year, perhaps how many lounges and priority pass restaurants I've gone to. So I hope that makes sense so far. This is how I'm kind of utilizing everything and making sure that I'm not missing out on anything. Really quick is right now I'm showing you the list view of Apple Reminders. There's actually 2 different views. This is the list view. This is kind of the default view. But if you're in Apple Reminders, if you go to the top of your screen and select View, and if you select As Columns, it'll kind of change to this Kanban type of view. This is the view that I like after I have all of this set up. I just find it's a little bit easier on my eyes. But this is the view that I like, and this is the view that I have all of my cards set up as right now. Perfect. So how the heck do we set this thing up? First and foremost, you'll want to come down to add a list. From here, you can give this a name. And you can give it a color. One of my favorite colors is orange. And you can also give it an emoji or an icon. For this, I'm going to just select a credit card here. Click OK. Now, what you'll want to do is utilize this sections button off to the top right. And each section should be the name of one of your credit cards that you have in your collection. So in my example, I'm going to use the Venture X as the card that we'll go through. After I have that section, actually, excuse me, as you can build out these sections for each of the cards that you have. And you kind of repeat this process on and on until you have your full list of cards. Perfect. Now that I kind of have a list here, you can kind of start adding in those benefits and perks that I talked about a couple of seconds ago. So for example, on the Venture X credit card, like many credit cards, it comes with global entry and a pre-TSA benefit. Now this is up to $120. So I like to add that in under the text. And you'll notice under date, you have some options here. So in my example, and just so you're aware, global entry is something that on most credit cards, you can actually only use this benefit every 4 years. So I like to just come in here and let's say I use this credit today on January 5th. I can then come under this eye icon, this information icon off to the right, and I can set up a reminder. So that way I can have it repeat every 4 years. And I'm just going to select yearly and change this to 4. So that way I know that I've already used this benefit. I can then just check it off my list here and it'll send me a reminder 4 years from now, or alternatively, it'll send me a reminder January 5th, 2029. I'm going to kind of continue on building out my list of perks here. So there's a anniversary. Every single year, they give out 10,000 bonus points. And again, for the date, I would actually put in your anniversary date. So in my example, let's just say next year, I can expect those 10,000 miles to be in my account. And then also the Venture X credit card comes with a travel credit. This is a $300 travel credit. So I like to, anytime there's like a credit like this, I always like to put like a 0 and then followed by the total. So that way, if I don't spend all $300 at once, I can come in here like maybe every month or something like that and just say, okay, I used $100 or I used $49 or $5.60, something like that, and kind of do that. Now, this travel credit on the Venture X credit card is also based on your card member anniversary date. So in my example, I would have until the 5th of January next year to utilize that. And that's the date I'd put in here. Now, what I love about utilizing this Apple Reminders is a variety of different things kind of as you're building this out with all your different perks. A lot of these cards have similar benefits, right? So what I like to do, you can actually copy. So all I did was select my global entry that I had already written on the Venture X card. And if I come down here to like maybe my next credit card and it has that same exact benefit, I can actually just copy paste it down in here. So kind of a shortcut or a hack if you have multiple cards with similar benefits. Same thing with travel credits and things like that. You can simply just copy paste it, as many times as needed. Now, one thing I do want to show before moving on here is showing you that not only can you put in, like in my example, I have 8 visits that I can do with a priority pass on one of my cards. You can also make subtasks here. So that way you can track those. So for example, if I wanted to do like a listing under the priority pass, I can list out all of the visits that I get just by selecting, right clicking, and then going to indent reminder. So that way I can now see I have visits under my priority pass here. So I'm going to collapse this down. and you'll be able to see that I have multiple visits here. So again, let me just make visit 2, visit 3. Perfect. So let's just say I have a priority pass that gives me 4 visits per year. I can then just track those in my spreadsheet, or excuse me, in my tracker, just like so. So after I complete a visit, I can just simply check it off. Okay. Now, you'd kind of repeat this process for all of the cards that have benefits and perks in your collection, but I'll just say, like, for example, I'm kind of all done with this tracking sheet. One thing you'll definitely want to do in order to use this year over year is actually come in to save this as a template. So the reason why you'd want to do this, and I'm going to use one of my examples up here. I'll use other banks, for example. What you'll want to do is select your list. You'll want to come up to view, or excuse me, to file, and you'll want to do save as a template. And the reason why you do that is, so let's just say we fast forward to 2026, for example, and I'm ready to start my tracker sheet for 2026. Now, when I come to add list, I can go under templates and just select which ones I want to roll into 2026. So for example, other banks, I'll go ahead and create a list. So in 2026, now all I have to do is kind of roll some of these dates forward here to maybe 2027, for example. And, kind of a shortcut way to kind of set this up once and use it many years, year over year. All right, perfect. So I wanted to just show Apple reminders. My final thoughts on this is I think this is very beneficial for all of the cards, right? Just to kind of take this stuff out of your brain and list them out. I'm hoping, you don't have 50 plus credit cards like I have, but again, just trying to simplify your life. Set this up one time and you'll never have to worry about it again. And you'll never have to worry about the banks kind of making you a part of their breakage calculations, right? Because these banks don't want you maximizing the benefits and perks that come along with these credit cards. All right. So just going to show one last time the final result. After you kind of build all this out, you'll have a full tracking sheet that'll either look exactly like mine with one by bank. So it'll have your full tracking sheet and it's listed by bank, or you'll just have one sheet that has all of your credit cards. Maybe it'll look something like this, and you'll have all of your credit cards listed here. What's nice also, the last thing I'll mention is that if you're utilizing Apple calendars as well, all of these reminders are going to be auto synced into your Apple calendar as well. So it'll show up, if you have something due today on the 5th of January, it'll show up as an item in your calendar. All right. So I hope you learned something new, and I hope you consider utilizing this in your process and in your life for maximizing these credit card benefits. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. But I'm going to show you one more free tool that you can also use. Okay. So the last tool that I want to share today is something called Travel Freely. So Travel Freely is something that I've been utilizing since 2019. And although this video is not sponsored and I don't have any sponsorships yet on my YouTube channel, this is something that I've just utilized in my personal life to kind of help me track all of my credit cards that I've acquired over the years. So number one, what I like about it is that it does not require you to log into any of your banks or rewards programs to utilize it. Number two, I think it's very easy and it's very simplistic to use. So once you have a Travel Freely account, and actually, even before doing that, I have a referral link to Travel Freely in the description box down below. So start 2025 off right and start getting organized with your credit cards and utilize Travel Freely. But once you have your account set up, all you have to do is come under My Cards and select Add a New Card. So let's just say I got approved today for a Chase Sapphire Reserve. That's not a card that I currently have, but let's just say I got approved for that card today. I can simply come in here and select January 5th, 2025. It's automatically going to pull the bonus in, but let's just say perhaps you got an elevated sign up bonus on this card, maybe a 75,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points bonus that you're eligible for. You can go ahead and add that in instead of the standard 60,000 point offer. I'm just going to leave it at 60,000. It's going to automatically calculate the date that the minimum spending requirement is due, so you get your sign up bonus here. And it's also going to tell you how much you need to spend. Again, this is all customizable, so perhaps the minimum spending is a bit different based on the offer you got. You can also change this. Under more options, you have a whole bunch of things that you can list here. Perhaps you want to put the last couple digits of your card just to remember it, or maybe you want to say, you've added an authorized user, something like that. You can kind of add all those notes in here. Now, once you add this in, you can click save, and you'll notice it adds to your full list of cards here. What I like about it is that once you've kind of completed a minimum spending requirement, like I have for my business gold credit card that I got in November, you can come in under these three dots over here, select edit, and under the bonus, just check off this bonus saying, yes, I did receive this bonus, and yes, I would like it to be marked as done on my list. You can go ahead and save that. And you'll notice that it went from this highlighted green color to a normal color here. And you'll notice that the status changed to my bonus has been achieved. So I really, really like Travel Freely. I'm going to kind of get rid of this card because I actually don't have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. What I really like about Travel Freely is a lot of different things. It's super simplistic. You can track cards for multiple different people in your family if you are kind of the person that does all their credit card rewards tracking. But also, if the Chase 524 rule is of importance to you, you can track which cards are counting towards that 524 rule simply by just highlighting over the icon here as well. All right. So I mentioned this is like a one-stop shop. I hope that you start to utilize Travel Freely in 2025 to kind of help track all of your credit cards and start getting organized, which I think is one of the paramount rules in credit card rewards and travel rewards. Thank you for allowing me to share both Apple Reminders and Travel Freely, two free resources that allow me to win the travel credit card game. I'm interested to know how you were tracking your credit card benefits and perks before watching this video. Do you think that you'll implement these two resources I shared with you today? Let me know down in the comments. If you're interested in what credit cards I currently have in my wallet, be sure to check out the video I'll link above.